1944, the Guam World War II Loyalty and Recognition Act, introduced by our colleague from Guam, Congresswoman Bordallo.
Freshman Louisiana Representative Jeff Landry presided over the hearing on the Guam War Claims Act. He is an Army veteran who served in Desert Storm and left with the rank of sergeant. He is 40 years old. In his opening remarks, he said he does not support the Guam War Claims Bill because the survivors of the war have already been compensated.
The 79th U.S. Congress responded quickly to the plight of Guam's residents, and in 1945 passed the Guam Meritorious Claims Act to provide immediate relief to the residents of Guam. The act paid 4,356 individuals over $8 million. Congress also passed the Guam Land Transfer Act and Guam Rehabilitation Act. The Guam Meritorious Claims Act is said to have been the primary means of settling war claims for the people of Guam.
Guam Congressman Ben Blas acknowledged that some compensation was paid under the Guam Meritorious Claims Act after the war, but the 82-year-old retired Marine Corps Brigadier General said it was incomplete because most people on island didn't know anything about it, including his own family.
The reason it's incomplete is simply because there were so many people that were not unaware. I was on Guam, Mr. Chairman. I was 17 years of age at that time when this thing was happening. I come from a family of 8 children, and my mother and father, the 10 of us. Our concern at the time was clearing the debris from a home and finding a meal for the next time that we sit down. We were stunned later on when we discovered that there had been discrimination out there, and you just can't imagine how welcome it would be if you're starving and somebody handed you a dollar.
In addition, Representative Landry argued that the U.S. bears no blame or responsibility for the suffering of island residents under Japanese occupation.
The president of the Heritage Foundation notes that the U.S. bears no blame here and no responsibility. We fought to prevent the island from being taken by the Japanese and fought to free it again. Some 3,000 Americans were killed and more than 7,000 wounded in the 1944 battle for the island. That's a price paid in blood that can never be made up in mere dollars. Even the Guam War Claims Review Commission stated that the U.S. government is not obligated as a matter of law to pay such compensation.
It distresses me somewhat as a Marine officer that someone from the Heritage Foundation would characterize the death, kill in action as being that's enough. What else do you want us to do? What else do you want us to do? We liberated you. It shows an intensely ill-informed person that would write that. It presumes that the reason the United States came to Guam was to liberate us, and that alone. That's not enough. Because you'd have to answer the question, why did we lose so many people in 2 of the fiercest battles in World War II on either theater? Taking Peleliu, no residents, and taking Iwo Jima, no residents. So the argument falls flat on its face, sir, that somehow the United States came. We are grateful. I know we're grateful. But by golly, we gave the United States, we gave no base, and between Saipan and Guam, we practically defeated the Japanese by ourselves because our land was used.
And Landry raised the question of money.
During this hearing, I hope to find out why there is a need for additional compensation, who will be compensated under H.R. 44, why the Japanese government did not pay the initial compensation in 1945, and how the federal government is going to pay more than $100 million when we are nearly $15 trillion in debt.
This whole idea of compensation, or the whole idea that somehow we don't owe the people of Guam, there's a lot more to what is intended here than monetary value, given the intensely loyal sentiment on Guam for the United States Why don't we call it the lack of response? Is obviously unrequited love. Unrequited love.
As I indicated at the beginning of the statement, I am deeply sympathetic to those living in Guam during the occupation of the Japanese Imperial Army. They were treated in a particularly oppressive, cruel, and barbaric way. Sadly, paying this compensation will not bring back the dead, nor will it undo the 32 months of hell which they endured.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't remember anything else, I have to say is that, sir, we're not trying to get this compensation to bring back the dead. What we're trying, sir, is to get this compensation to honor the living.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.